Your hair is thinning, and no shampoo, serum, or oil is going to fix that. Here's why. The problem was never on your scalp. It's on your plate. You can spend hundreds, even thousands, of dollars on products you put on your hair. But almost nobody asks the one question that actually matters. What are you putting into your body that your hair follicles can actually use? Here's the thing, almost nobody tells you before they sell you a hair growth product. There's actually one question you need to answer first, before you spend another dollar on shampoo, serum, or supplements. So let's start with why hair loss actually happens in the first place. Hair loss isn't one disease, and it doesn't have one cause. Sometimes it's nutrition, sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's hormones or genetics, and sometimes it's a medical condition hiding underneath the surface. Let's break those down. Genetics is actually the single most common cause of hair loss worldwide, known as androgenetic alopecia, or male and female pattern hair loss. In these cases, follicles gradually shrink over time due to genetic sensitivity to hormones. This is largely inherited, and no diet on its own can fully reverse it. Nutritional deficiency is a separate category. When your body is missing key nutrients, protein, iron, certain vitamins. Hair can be one of the first places you notice it because your body treats hair production as replaceable when resources run short. Stress can trigger something called telogen effluvium, a temporary condition where a stressful event pushes a large number of hair follicles into a resting phase at the same time, causing noticeable shedding weeks later. Hormonal and medical causes include things like thyroid dysfunction, certain medications, autoimmune conditions, and scalp disorders, all of which can drive hair loss independent of diet entirely. So here's where nutrition actually matters. When your body is missing key nutrients, your hair can be one of the first places you notice it. And at the end, I'll show you exactly how to build the smartest possible plan to improve your hair health, no matter which of these four is actually behind what you're dealing with. Quick gut check before we move on. Which one of those four sounds most like you? Genetics, nutrition, stress, or something medical? Drop it in the comments, because it'll actually change which part of this video matters most for you. Here's something most people don't realize. It's rarely just one nutrient. It's usually two or three working against you at once, which is exactly why random fixes like just take biotin so often fail. So let's go one by one, starting with the one your hair is literally made of. Nutrient 1. Protein. Quick question. When's the last time you actually tracked how much protein you ate in a day? Most people have never checked. Your hair shaft is made primarily of a tough structural protein called keratin. So if your diet doesn't provide enough protein, especially over time, hair production can be affected. Good sources: eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, salmon, tofu, lentils, beans, chickpeas. You don't need to overload on protein hoping for extra hair. You just need to stop running a deficit. Next up is the one we see come up constantly, especially in women, and most people who have it don't even know. Nutrient 2. Iron. Iron helps your body make hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout your body. When you're iron deficient, that can affect tissues that depend on a steady supply of oxygen, including, in some cases, the hair follicle. Iron deficiency has been linked to hair shedding, especially in women, particularly when the deficiency is significant. This doesn't mean everyone with thinning hair needs more iron. It means iron is worth ruling out. Good sources: lean red meat, shellfish, lentils, beans, tofu, spinach, and other leafy greens, iron-fortified cereals. One useful trick: pair plant-based iron with vitamin C, lentils with tomatoes, spinach with strawberries, beans with bell peppers. Vitamin C significantly improves how much iron your body actually absorbs. An important warning: don't start megadosing iron supplements just because you're shedding hair. Too much iron can be harmful. If you suspect a deficiency, get tested before you start supplementing. This next nutrient flies completely under the radar. But skip it, and your scalp stays quietly inflamed without you ever knowing why. Nutrient 3. Zinc. Think of zinc as the repair crew for your follicles. It's involved in cell growth and the constant small repairs your scalp tissue needs to function properly. Good sources: oysters, beef, chicken, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, lentils, chickpeas, beans, dairy. More is not better here. Too much zinc can actually interfere with copper absorption. The goal is sufficiency, not excess. Here's one that half the country is walking around deficient in, and most of them have no idea because you can't feel it happening. Nutrient 4, vitamin D. Think of vitamin D as an on-off switch for the follicle. When levels are low, follicles can sit in a kind of dormant state, and no shampoo or serum can wake them back up. Good sources: fatty fish like salmon and sardines, egg yolks, fortified foods. Sunlight also triggers vitamin D production in your skin, though how much depends on your skin tone, location, and season. If your levels are already normal, taking more won't grow extra hair. But if you're deficient, correcting it may genuinely help. And here's a pairing trick that almost nobody uses on purpose, even though it can roughly double one of the nutrients we already talked about. Nutrient 5, vitamin C. Vitamin C doesn't grow hair directly, but it plays a critical supporting role. It helps your body build collagen, and it dramatically boosts how well you absorb iron from plant foods. Good sources: oranges, strawberries, kiwi, bell peppers, broccoli, tomatoes. Simple combo to remember: iron-rich food plus vitamin C-rich food, every time you can. Nutrient 6, omega-3 fats. If you're vegetarian or mostly plant-based, pay close attention to this one. It's the one people in that group miss most often. Omega-3 act almost like lubrication for your follicles, helping keep the membranes around them soft, hydrated, and less inflamed. Good sources: salmon, sardines, mackerel, walnuts, chia seeds, ground flaxseed. They're not a baldness cure. They're part of the environment your follicles need to function well. And now, the one you've probably already bought. Let's talk about why it might not be doing anything for you. Nutrient 7, biotin. Biotin is the most famous hair vitamin on the internet, and also the most overhyped. It plays a supporting role in helping keratin chains form. But there's limited evidence that taking large amounts of biotin does anything for people who aren't actually deficient. And true biotin deficiency is fairly uncommon. There's also a practical warning. High-dose biotin supplements can interfere with certain blood tests and produce misleading lab results. If you're taking biotin, tell your doctor before you get blood work done. Good sources: eggs, nuts, seeds, fish, meat, and some vegetables. You're probably getting more than you think from food alone. Real quick, out of all 7 of these, which one do you think you're actually missing? Comment it below. I read these, and it'll help me know what to cover next. Build the hair-supporting plate. Stop looking for one miracle food. Start thinking in terms of a plate, a protein source: eggs, salmon, chicken, tofu, beans, or lentils. An iron-rich food paired with something high in vitamin C, a healthy fat. Walnuts, flaxseed, or fatty fish. A colorful vegetable or fruit for antioxidants. Enough total calories. Undereating can affect hair production just as much as poor food choices do. Hair growth works like an orchestra, not a solo performance. One instrument out of tune throws off the whole piece. No single nutrient, not protein, not iron, not biotin, can compensate for the others being out of balance. What not to believe? Let's clear up a few myths while we're here. Biotin cures baldness. It doesn't, unless you're one of the rare people who are actually deficient. More iron equals more hair. Only true if you were deficient to begin with. Otherwise, excess iron can be harmful. Sugar directly causes baldness. Sugar doesn't cause baldness by itself, but diets high in added sugar have been linked to higher DHT activity, a hormone that shrinks follicles in people who are genetically sensitive to it. Drinking more water reverses hair loss. Hydration supports circulation and nutrient delivery, but it's not a fix on its own. One superfood fixes everything. No single food, not eggs, not spinach, not salmon, can outperform an overall balanced diet. The biggest mistake. Here's the biggest mistake people make when trying to fix hair loss through food. Assuming every case of hair loss is a nutrition problem. It isn't. And treating it like one, when the real cause is genetic, hormonal, or medical, just means months of effort with little to show for it. What to do if you're losing hair? Sudden, heavy shedding. Worth seeing a doctor, since this can point to a triggering event like stress, illness, or a nutrient deficiency. Bald patches. See a dermatologist, since this pattern isn't typical of nutritional hair loss. Rapid thinning. Worth a proper evaluation rather than guessing. A steadily receding hairline. Consider that this may be hereditary pattern hair loss, which food alone won't fully reverse. A doctor or dermatologist can check for things like iron deficiency or thyroid dysfunction and help you figure out which category you're actually in, instead of guessing with another bottle of oil. Final message. Don't ask, what miracle food will grow my hair back? Ask, what's actually causing my hair loss? That's the smarter question. Your follicles aren't separate from the rest of your body. They're part of it. Give the body the right raw materials, and you give your hair its best possible shot at recovering, whatever the underlying cause turns out to be. If you found this useful, subscribe to David Whitmore Health for more science-backed breakdowns that help you understand your body instead of guessing about it. You don't need a miracle. You need the right information.